Hey everyone, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks, and I'm back with more double barrel action. I reviewed this vehicle, the Object 703 version 2 on the channel yesterday, and I really felt like it justified that 30 to 40 minute video. If you want to know everything there is to know about this vehicle, thoroughly recommend you check out that video first. This video today is going to embellish on the gameplay and really focus in on those moments which it's definitely taking me 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 battles inside this tank before I'm really trying to filter out the mistakes that I make, and I hope that I can describe them to you today. And so again, you can become a better double barrel player. Either you can just laugh at how preposterous this vehicle is when it is actually in its environment, or thirdly, again, trying to focus on the weaknesses of this vehicle so you can try and take advantage of the mistakes that it makes. Alright, so firstly, right from the get-go, I decide to try and get a double barrel shot in. My opponents go dead, and they go dark, and I don't really want to waste 25 seconds of misfire there against them. So immediately, a bit of a misplay. I probably should have just fired a single shot. I think if I just fired a single shot, I would have probably penned the IS-2 on the enemy team, and then I would have been reloaded in time for maybe the push from the enemy tanks. So I'm just going to fire a single one here. I learned my lesson from the waste of the first double, and instead I'm going to just fire a single to lock the 50 TP's tracks. Now he wants to advance. Now is the chance to wait for the shell to reload, hold down the mouse button, try and zero it in on the side, and boom! 854 damage, stopping the 50 TP in his tracks and dealing a significant amount of crits to him. That really is where the double barrel 703-2 is just simply monstrous, and in a situation like this, i.e. fairly close quarters combat, it's devastating. Now, as I said yesterday, and as I said in all of my auto-reloader videos, you really want to make sure you're only firing as soon as possible after a single shell reloads, or obviously when you're as soon as possible after your second shell reloads, because there's no more rounds that can go into the vehicle. You don't want to interrupt your reload in this vehicle as much as you can, and we'll be seeing signs of that later on. So charging up the double, and I did it again. I shot the wall in front of me. You could see that I tried to lurch around the corner a little bit towards the end when I realized what mistake I was going to make. One thing I'd like to add to the video from yesterday, and what a lot of people commented on in the YouTube comments, is that you can actually see if your alternative barrel, not the one that you're looking out of, has got a clean line of sight towards the enemy tank, because when you're charging the double shot, that it actually gets grayed out. So definitely use that to your advantage, and while I'm still trying to get to grips with it, it will definitely be a bit helpful for when you're trying to charge up those doubles. So every single time you'll see that if you're thinking that I'm over-aiming the shot, it's not that I'm over-aiming the shot. What I want to do is I want to make sure that I don't break the reload. Because when you've got a not a 3-barrel tank, not yet, QuickyBaby. When you've got a 3-round auto-reloader, like you have on the Standard B, or a 4-round auto-reloader on the Progetto 65, and the reload is a little bit faster on those rounds, it doesn't feel nearly as awful if you actually break the reload on the tank. However, on this vehicle, you could be literally half a second away from loading in a 12-second reload, or in my case, an 11-second reload, and all of that will be completely broken. You're going from having what would have been a shell at the enemy tank and an entire shell still left over in your vehicle, to having to reload for an extra 22 seconds to be able to get the vehicle up to full combat capacity. So it's a tricky one. Sometimes I feel like I'm battling with my inner demons when I play this vehicle, and no, I'm not talking about my inner pay-to-win demons, although I don't think there's any denial there. I think it's more of a case of I'm trying to battle with my DPM demons. Is it the right thing to do to fire a single shot? Is it the right thing to do to try and charge up a double, as you saw me there against the SU-100M1? Or is it the right thing to do to actually not fire and wait for the entire shell to reload so that you can maximize the damage per minute of the vehicle? Well, I think a lot of that only comes down to experience, and this vehicle, it truly is so different to the Italian auto-reloaders, and it's going to take me a lot of games before I truly start to feel entirely comfortable in the tank. Although I think definitely the fact that I have been playing those Italian auto-reloads for a while will certainly help me. Now I'm wondering what Wargaming are going to do with the Tier 9 and the Tier 10 vehicles. I've kind of reviewed the tech tree a little bit on the channel before, but just before I focus on that, focus on the double, and then I actually have to stop. And because I probably let go and then clicked again to try and get a shell at the leopard. I turned what would have been a simple shot against the leopard into a greed to fire a double barrel shot into them. And then I fire another shell at him as he pulls back around the corner, and I get absolutely nothing, boys and girls. What an absolute disaster. I turned an opportunity for an easy shot into greed for a double shot that actually got me nothing at all, and now I'm left with a single hit point. I'm incredibly lucky to still be alive, that's for sure. That Leopard prototype has 390 alpha damage. Actually, no, that Leopard prototype might have 420 alpha damage now if they're using the top gun. And again, a bit of a misplay there by me. I think my greed to use the double barrel against the Ripper pattern, although when I first saw him and I decided in my brain to start charging the double barrel, he had not been hit by one of my allies to a point where I would guarantee killing him. But it's not like I guess I could have let go and then just clicked immediately afterwards to fire a single shot to cancel the double shot. All of these things you've definitely got to take into account with these vehicles. So again, really lucky that the Leopard prototype didn't kill me. And also lucky that the Ripper pattern didn't kill me on the enemy team as well there as he came around the corner. And that desire to fire the double made it that I should have really died to the Ripper pattern and he didn't even need the double. So this vehicle, it's really, I have to admit, when I was playing this specific game, I was a bit tired. I have to admit, but making YouTube videos every single day for the last 45 days, as well as also streaming more than I've ever streamed, I'm definitely running on fumes, and I'm kind of looking forward to a January period where I'm obviously not going to stop completely. I'm still going to keep going. In fact, I'm going to try and do better than ever for that New Year period. But I'm definitely going to have to take like a day or so where I'm just away from tanks because I feel like I'm becoming tanks right now. But it is very easy to feel like that around this period because Wargaming, of course, are just releasing so much content. And so, yeah, that's the double-barrel tanks. Some of the most outrageous content that Wargaming has ever released around this period, and so controversial as well with the ability to only get these inside gambling loot crates. All right, so Object 7032. We've now picked up 7 kills, 4,700 damage, having just killed the T-30, the SU, and also put a single shot into the Tiger. Now I'm thinking, shall I charge a double? But of course, I can't actually get the double off in time before the Tiger pulls back. Maybe I should have fired off a single. Well, now I can just bait his shot into my tracks and prepare the coup de grace on the enemy team. That is a great way to pick up my first Radley Walters medal in this tank, by vanquishing half of my opponents in not the best matchup that we could get for this vehicle. And the result was my best ace tanker so far in the Object 7032. And yeah, I think I might have pushed the requirements for aces just a little bit higher with this one. 1,814 base. I can't remember a time when I managed to get a Radley Walters and a brand new premium tank in a +1 matchup with doing twice as much damage as even some of the tier 9 tanks on our team and also the enemy team, with 8 kills securing that Radley Walters medal, a Spartan medal for bouncing with less than 10% of our hit points remaining. We actually blocked 1,840 damage this game, showing you just how robust that armor is. And yeah, that 5,300 gives us a high caliber in addition to a very meaty profit. Looks like I did fire a few premium rounds in this game, as we do resupply 43,000 credits worth of ammunition. But when we make 239,000 credits with all of Wargaming's events going on in the garage, I was running a credit booster at the time. It's just preposterous that the thought of making 250,000 credits in less than 8 minutes of gameplay. So, the Object 7032, does having double the barrels on the vehicle double the fun that you're going to have inside the tank? Well, I think double the fun would definitely be pushing it, but for me at least, having a new mechanic in World of Tanks, quite a complicated one that does require you to really focus on the tank, and there's so many mistakes that you can make, and there's so many opportunities where your decisions directly reward just getting through the situation, winning the fight, increasing the damage that you deal. I really feel that it's a very rewarding tank for an experienced player to play that will reward thoughtful and conscientious play far above that of somebody who's just rushing into the situation and trying to play it like any other vehicle. Because of that, personally, I'm definitely having more fun playing this tank, although I've enjoyed all of the new mechanics added to the game. be it the EBR, be it the Progetto Auto Reloader, or even be it the Stridsvagn 103B when it went into the game towards the end of 2016. For me, I love Wargaming adding these new mechanics, but I also completely understand the players out there who just want the game to stay the same. They don't like the fact that vehicles coming into the game like this make the older vehicles just feel completely irrelevant. And there's no doubt about that, because I can tell you, whenever I've had to fight against a KV-5 when I've been playing this vehicle, I just wonder if they've even got a hope. And consequently, I can imagine that Wargaming have got a real dilemma on their hands about how do we keep people interested in our game, and specifically the players who've been playing it for nearly 10 years. I guess they think adding new mechanics is one way to do that. But how much does that then alienate other players who don't want new mechanics? And how far do they push the boundaries of balance? One thing I will say about the Object 7032 is that Wargaming have definitely set the bar at least a good level, if not a very high level, for the quality of this vehicle's performance. And I'm definitely waiting with bated breath as to when What Life is going to add the general win ratio statistic of this vehicle onto their website. Because we're just going to have to see if it's going to compete with the preposterous average win ratio of vehicles like the Defender, which is 53%. But what worries me more than that is that if this is the Tier 8 Premium, what is Wargaming going to do with the Tier 9 and the Tier 10 double-barrel vehicles? Are we going to see truly monstrous alpha damage of 440 or even higher per shot? I really think that having a tank that's capable of delivering 1,000 damage blow like that with a turret that, if it's a heavy tank, has to have armor, could be truly game-breaking, a lot like the old WTL V100 used to be. And I definitely wouldn't want to be Wargaming's balancing department right now, with the Object 7032 setting a new bar for balance, diversity, and new game mechanics. Anyway, ladies and gents, that's it for today. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. If you did, give it a thumbs up, but if you hated it, give it a thumbs down. And if you're watching this video as it's released on Sunday, I'm streaming right now on twitch.tv/QuickyBaby for the World of Tanks event of the week. It's the Tech Tree Showcase. This week, most of you want to see the UDES 1516. Awesome pick. Tier 10 Swedish medium tank. Hull down, great alpha damage, good camo, reasonable mobility. Come along as I start at Tier 1 and work my way up to Tier 10 to show you why this is definitely one of the more underrated medium tank lines in the game. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing all of you right now on twitch.tv/QuickyBaby. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.